Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop. As you can see, I'm actually doing some work in the workshop rather than just talking to you. So, update on the CRF theft. There is no update. Haven't heard anything further. I've had a crime number from the police, which I needed in order to pursue things with the insurance company. The car park it was stolen from has got CCTV, and I know who now monitors that, and they're liaising with the police to see whether or not anything can be achieved. But obviously in the meantime I'm without a bike, and I've got all the gear I need to go on the TET, so I needed a new bike. Anyway, I've located one, as you can see behind me. It's a 2019 CRF250L. It's done 3,400 miles. I paid £3,500 for it. It's got a few accessories but not much. It's got an FMF exhaust which isn't actually on it at the moment, and I'm not planning to put it on. My previous CRF had an FMF exhaust on, which sounded great, but it did sort of get on your nerves after a while. And if I'm riding all day on trails, I think it would just give you a headache after a while. And the stock exhaust seems to make enough noise anyway, so I'm not unhappy with that. The bike's only done 3,400 miles, but it's also had very little maintenance done. I managed to remove the swing arm pivot bolt after an hour, which is staggering. It's never taken me that long to get a swing arm pivot bolt out, but sadly, no maintenance, and it had gone rusty. The chain is currently soaking in paraffin, and I'm hoping that's retrievable. I think what's happened is the bike's just been used and not cleaned afterwards. When you go off-road riding with these things, you need to clean them. You need to get them back to ready to go the next time. And that sadly hasn't been the case with this, but it's all retrievable. And I think sitting on the floor is probably a bad idea. I've just got to get on with it. So I've got a service kit. I'm going to be giving it a full service, redo the brakes. The sprockets at the moment, the current sprockets on are 1342. Now the stock sprockets are 1440. I'm going to leave the 13 on the front, and I've got a 40 which I bought for the other CRF, and I'm going to put that on. So I'll have 1340, and I'll just see how it goes. I don't have any experience of riding off-road, and therefore I can't sort of say definitively, well, that will be good or not. So I'll just see how it goes. I think the 13 sprocket at the front will give me enough oomph when I get to a steeper bit, rather than the thing bogging down. So we'll see. Anyway, lots to get on with. Swing arms off, chains in soak, got stuff to clean up. I need to fit a few bits to it, so you'll join me later when I'm further down the track with this. So I'll see you in a short while. Right, so we're a bit further on, so I'll just show you how much I've achieved so far. So the back of the bike now is in pretty clean condition. New sprockets on. I had to drill out 3 of the bolts, so I've only got 3 on just to be able to move the bike around the workshop for now. But obviously I've ordered 3 more bolts. Well, I've ordered 8 actually, because I'll replace all of them. And everything's pretty clean. Certainly a lot cleaner than it was. So it almost looks like it's ready to get dirty again. So we shall see. Now I need to get on with the front end. So you'll join me when I'm a bit further on. Okay, so we're at the end of day 2. It's 5:30. It's been a long day. I had a break in the middle when I had to take my wife to the station, but I've got on pretty well. I'll show you what I've done. So the back wheel is now on. The chain guard arrived, which it didn't have a chain guard when I got it. New sprockets on. The front and the rear brakes have been stripped, cleaned, and put back together. The pads are fine. I've taken the bar risers off. It had some pretty chunky bar risers on. I mean, they were a good 2 inches higher than standard. And when I was riding back from Yorkshire, where I bought the bike, it really felt wrong. It just didn't feel correct. So I had some bar risers from another project. So I simply took the caps off and put them back to the standard height, which works much better for me. It also, I've taken off the hand guards. The hand guards that were on it, well, first of all, they weren't actually connected into the bar end, and they were too big. You know, they sort of went, I mean, they weren't for the bike. They weren't designed for this bike. I've got some different hand guards coming. They should be here by the end of the week. So I'll put those on. I've also fitted heated grips, Oxford heated grips. I fit Oxford heated grips to every bike I own because they're super reliable, they work well, they're not stupidly expensive. Some people say, oh, the controller looks shit, but I don't think the controller looks that bad there. You know, I've obviously adapted the bracket in some way, but I don't, you know, to me, I think that looks absolutely fine, and I'm going to be very glad of them when I'm freezing cold. What else have I done? Well, I've given the bike a service. I mean, obviously, in the course of all the work I've done, I've effectively, I mean, I've stripped every bolt and bracket that's supposed to move out of the bike. You know, the swing arm pivot bolt's been taken apart and cleaned. The suspension linkage, everything's been stripped, cleaned and greased. The air filter, I'd ordered an air filter, a Honda one. I mean, I was thinking I'll get a K&N one, but it was about 70 quid as opposed to about 18 quid for the Honda one. And then when I took the side panel off, there was a sticker on here that said, you know, warning, K&N air filter, do not replace. And I thought, oh, bugger. You know, I've spent 18 quid on an air filter that I don't need. Took the cover off, and guess what? The air filter wasn't K&N at all. It was a standard Honda one. So either someone is being a twat, or they were a twat because they took a K&N air filter out and threw it away. So either they were pretending there was one there, or there was one there and they chucked it out. Changed the oil and the filter. The only things I'm waiting for really now is cosmetic stuff. I'm waiting for an aluminium bash guard, which has got to come in. I've got from the old bike these covers, engine covers, which I'm going to put back on because the engine casings are a bit scratched, as you can see, and this sort of thing goes over the top of this. So apart from it covering up the scratches, it'll also protect the engine covers. So that's it as far as the bike's concerned. The other news, I suppose, here, let's put you up there. I suppose the other big news is I've been looking forward to doing this for absolutely weeks and weeks and weeks, and doing it with a friend. And today, this friend of mine phoned me and said he can't take the time off work, and so he can't come. So I've now got all the gear and no one to go with. So I've got two choices. I can either delay it and go another time, but obviously I can't delay it until December because it'll be too bloody cold and it'll be snowing. So I've either got to go now on my own, you know, in the next sort of 10 days or so on my own, or delay it until next year. And given that I've got everything prepared, you know, I mean, the bike got nicked, I bought another one. I wouldn't have bought another one if I'd known I wasn't going. So I'm a bit upset about that. So people say, from what I've read, that it's not necessarily the wisest thing to do the TET on your own, and I get that. I mean, I've never done this before. I've done lots of touring and travelling around, but I've always been on the road. And even if I've been out in the wilds, there's generally been a phone signal. But where I'm going, there may not be. and I'll be on my own on dirt roads. So my inclination is to just go, because you know, if something happens, you can work things out. You know, there's 1,001 reasons why I shouldn't go, but there's a couple of reasons why I should. So my inclination is I'm just going to go and see what happens. And if I go, which I'm pretty sure I will, then obviously I'll be making a video, and you can learn all about what happened. You know, the fact that the bike broke down, I fell into a ravine, and I got attacked by vultures. And then fought them off bravely, obviously. Otherwise I wouldn't have been able to make the video. So that's it. I'm not going to make any more videos on this now that I've pretty much finished it. I mean, apart from a couple of cosmetic things, it's ready to go. So the next video I'll be making, well, I've got a couple of videos in the offing, which I won't tell you about because one of them's quite funny. Anyway, I hope you found this mildly interesting. Obviously, if I do the TET, then I'll be making a video about it. Thank you very much for listening. Please subscribe if you're interested in listening to me talk, which I know some of you are. And I'll see you next time. Thanks very much.